Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast. We're a Green Bay Packers fan podcast that brings you topical yet relevant Packers news along with our most humble subjective opinions. This is episode 290, recording this on a Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. The Pack won in week 5 out in LA against the Rams, now coming back home to Lambeau to take on the Cardinals. This is a video episode, so if you're listening on the podcast, try heading over to YouTube and checking out our channel there, subscribing, liking, and watching our ugly mugs over there. We really appreciate that. I'm your host, Tay, and not joining me today is Ren. He had some scheduling issues, so you're getting Tay solo style. So this should be fun. You won't get sidetracked by Ren's rants and raves. So maybe we'll make this one a little shorter than usual. Don't forget to go over to our X page. Follow us at Packer_universe. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, the aforementioned YouTube channel. And you can head over to our website, packeruniverse.com. Send us an email if you'd like, info@packeruniverse.com, aka the pup list. But we'll start off today just briefly talking about the win in LA. It was a sloppy game, but we came out victorious. Ren and I did a first takeaway video, first reaction podcast right after the game this past Sunday. If you haven't seen that or checked that out, go do so. But yeah, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best, but we got the job done. A couple highlights was, the 5th interception for Xavier McKinney. He has one in every game so far. He was named the defensive player of the week, and so we give it up to Professor X. Love it, love it, love it. We all love to see the dynamic playmaker that Xavier has been so far this year. Can't wait for more of this. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, I hope it continues. I mean, there's probably prop bets and Vegas bets out there. Putting it at maybe 7 over under 7. I mean, can this guy do it every week? I hope so. That would be way, way, way too cool. But he also had the fumble recovery, which was nice. So I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I think the Packers lead in turnovers this year in the NFL, which is like amazing. So when you look at the Halfley defense, maybe not everything has come to fruition for the Halfley defense, but a lot of things have. And attack and take away the ball has been at the forefront. And that's exciting to me. I love that stuff. And it's a huge change of from where we've been in the past, I don't know, couple decades. So I'm okay with this. I love this. The pass rush is an issue still, and the run defense. So, what do you do with that? I don't know. Do we have a little bit of give and take here with some of this on the defense? Probably, and I think we're gonna have to be okay with that. And I am honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. I just don't want us to let the other team get like 30, 35 points. Like I think at that point you're like, okay, well, uh, that's an issue because at some point I think Jordan Love's going to have a hard time consistently getting above 30 if at all possible for the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll see. We don't want to rely on the offense to do that. Uh, Evan Williams was great. They put him in at safety a bunch. And like Ren was saying last week and on the first take, let these young guys play. So you got Williams, you got Cooper playing the linebacker position. Awesome to have these young guys coming in and contribute. They're just flying around. Bullard also in there in the secondary. This is fantastic. Get these guys in there, have them contribute to the wins, get some reps under their belt, and just move forward with their progression because these guys are almost impacting immediately, which is to my surprise, it barely feels like it ever happens. So I love to see that it is. So props to those guys. I love that. Tucker Kraft had a huge day, 2 touchdowns, um, ton of receiving yards. I think the Packers social media put out a mic'd up edition today on their official accounts and on the website. It's like 3 minutes of Tucker Kraft being mic'd up, a lot of hits and and but him on the sidelines talking to the other tight ends and just talking smack. I love it. He's a fun, energetic young kid who is loving his job right now. He's doing really well at it. He's kind of overtaken Musgrave as the tight end one, but having a ball with it, and his production is up. One of the best tight ends right now in the league. Um, but what I got out of watching that mic'd up video was that all the receivers are just also just as jacked up as him. They were excited, coming up to him after play, well after the play, and just like having this experience with him and saying how awesome he is and how excited they were. I mean, these guys are excited. Yeah, they want the ball too, but to have a tight end that also can catch and be a threat, it takes a little pressure off everybody. And the success that he's had this year should just pay dividends as this season continues. But speaking of everyone kind of doing their share, let's just recap the Romeo Dobbs situation. Today's Wednesday. He was back at practice, but rewind to last Thursday and Friday, he didn't show up for practice. It sounds like the team had to send representatives to his house where they found him there, and he just didn't want to practice. They ended up suspending him for 1 game, which was warranted. So, Twitter universe and Packer universe and all the social media for all the beat writers and everything was all over this, saying like, "Where are you? What's going on with this? This is weird. This is strange. This kind of almost came out of nowhere." I think the only time we had any kind of inclination was when he slammed his helmet down during the Vikings game. But I don't know. I was surprised. I think a lot of you were surprised, but uh, they suspend him. He doesn't go out to LA for the Rams game at all, and and you get a huge drama controversy over this. Um, I was disappointed because this was my guy. I've been touting Romeo Dobbs, saying he is the guy, the wide receiver that has the best chance of being on this team for a long duration, has the best chance on this team to contribute and be the possession receiver that we need. And it almost seems like he was giving it away or jeopardizing the whole thing by what I feel, and I think that most people think, was kind of a foolish move. You don't show up to practice, you don't communicate. I don't think we know why. There's speculation out there that says maybe he's just not liking the game plan. He's not, maybe potentially not involved as he thinks he should be, as involved. Uh, but we all agree this is the worst way to do it. This is the worst way to address this situation. You can't do this. And you have to, put your head down. You have to, follow, all the other wide receivers and everyone else in the league that has a professional attitude, and you don't sit out practice. You don't go to practice. Uh, I know we'll never find out what happened, but this looks bad. Looks terrible for Romeo. And I was thinking it could go either way. It could be like, we'll see you later, Romeo. We'll never see you again. Or it could kind of, play the old what happened with Jair last year, where he also got suspended for a game, but came back and said all the right things to the media, had his meeting with LaFleur, and that was smoothed over really quickly, and he just kind of got back in the fold. Well, it kind of seems like that's what's happening here. We'll see if it actually works out that way. But he met with Matt LaFleur, I think, on Monday, and Matt said so. And he said, of course, Matt says that went fine. Everything's smoothed over. Matt just wants to put it behind us, and it was a one-time thing. He's back at practice today, and everything looks like normal if you didn't know this happened. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I just feel disappointed that it happened to Romeo. I don't know what it was. I would love to know. I don't think we'll ever will, but I want to move past this. I want to see what happens now in the next, a couple weeks, right? Because he was poised to be the WR1. Watson was out with injury. He was on the depth chart above the other guys, Wicks, Heath, Bo Melton, Jaden Reed, maybe not. But he was your possession guy. He was the guy that can be in there on almost every play. So I don't know why he felt, maybe if it's true, allegedly, that he felt he wasn't going to be a part of the plan as he wanted to be, as much as he wanted to be. But he was ready for the opportunity to be that guy. So that's what strikes me odd. So maybe there was something else going on. But hopefully all this is past us. Um, I just want to be done with this. And I want Romeo to be on the team. I want him to be successful and happy. And I think it's possible. According to Matt, everything went well. So we'll see. So just it almost seems like every year with the Packers, there's some player like that. We had Zadarius Smith. We potentially had Jair. That was a little bit different situation, but still, it's like, oh, you're dabbling in that. And then Romeo this year, it's just like, no, I don't understand how that stuff happens. All right, let's move on to someone close to the Packers, Aaron Jones. He came in here with the Vikings a couple weeks ago, had a decent game, and of course the Vikings won. But he is now injured with what they're saying it's a right hip injury, and he's week to week. And I guess I just want to put this out to Packer Universe. Like, is this the slowdown of the Vikings? Um, I watched a little bit of that game against the Jets on Sunday morning, and that was a tight game. The Vikings could have lost that one if Aaron didn't throw a pick. But I don't know. It seems like this could maybe spell the slowdown of the Vikings, where they don't have their dynamic running back maybe week to week. Who knows how long he's out? But this is why I think this is in part why the Packers let him go, because he wasn't going to be around every week, and they knew it. And I bet you Brian's in his chair right now, in his big leather chair up in Lambeau, going like, "Ha! I knew this was going to happen. See, there you go." But nothing to take away from Aaron Jones as a player, because he's an awesome dude, one of the best. But I kind of think this was coming. I think we all kind of knew, like, oh, let's just a matter of time before Aaron Jones gets injured. So I guess you can kind of justify it yourself a little bit with Brian getting rid of him. Another surprise yesterday was the Salah firing. The head coach of the Jets is out after a 2-3 start for the New York Jets. And I guess it took everyone by surprise. They came back from their game and he was let go. It was a surprise to the team, the coaches, and himself, Salah himself. I was shocked. I guess my 2 cents on the thing is, like, there was so much going on with that team, with drama and maybe, people pulling different people in different directions at all times. I think it was a mess. I think it was a complete mess out there. And for Salah to be kind of used as a scapegoat makes sense to me, because that was starting to be a dumpster fire, a real crap show out there. But last year he didn't have Aaron Rodgers. He was planning on it. It's just, for me, that first press conference where Rodgers came in there and Salah was sitting there, I could just tell. To me, it didn't look like he wanted him there. Yeah, of course, you say you always welcome in the future Hall of Famer, probably arguably one of the best in the business ever. Into your building to play on your football team, but I just don't think he really wanted it. And he was kind of, here you go. You have to make this work. And Salah did his best. He could have been the problem, yes, but I think everything collective, all compounded on itself, on each other, and in the context of the situation, it wasn't going to work out. This was going to go bad, and I just felt like Salah was unhappy all the time, and I kind of relieved for him that he doesn't have to deal with this situation anymore. I'm just surprised it happened so early in the season. 2-3. I mean, the Cardinals are coming in here this week at 2-3, and they're not firing their coach. I just it's a mess out there. But I just think it's too early for that. Um, Unless they just wanted to turn the page, I just don't think they're going to be any better without him. I think there are a lot more problems there than Salah, and they're going to discover that in the end. And I think the Jets are going nowhere. Uh, let's move on to the injury report for the Green Bay Packers. This is looking pretty good. There's only one person that didn't participate, and that was Devontae Wyatt. He still has an ankle injury, so he just didn't participate. Is there a chance he could play? Maybe, but I doubt it. Everyone else was limited or full. Even Christian Watson got back today at limited. I just don't see him coming back though yet. That seems like that high ankle sprain seemed maybe a little too much to be back so quickly. You don't see. Uh, Jordan Love on here at all. Limited, if I can talk. Limited participation was Jordan Morgan with the shoulder. I I'm doubtful that he comes back, but God, I just would love to see that guy playing in here. And then last week when Jonathan Ford got elevated and his window opened to come back off IR, he was limited too. So we'll see. But in general, we should be healthy. Now, that doesn't make it a positive thing. A couple weeks back, Jair got put on the injury report like late Thursday or something, and then Friday he was out. So we'll see. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. On the other side of the ball, the Arizona Cardinals this week. Uh, Zay Jones, their wide receiver, he might play, but I doubt it. He came back from suspension, so we'll see. But I don't know what exactly his kind of status is, if he's ready to play or not. Um, and then their kicker, Matt Prater, had a knee injury, but he's probably going to play too. So nothing out of the ordinary for the Cardinals with that, but let's move on to the Cardinals. Uh, this team is coming in at 2-3, like I said before, in the NFC West. They just got off a huge win against the 49ers last week. They won by 1 point, 24-23, and that was viewed as an upset. Underdog Cardinals beat the 49ers. So they're feeling pretty good. But this team is average. We dominate them in most all the stats. I don't know a ton about the Cardinals. I just always thought they weren't great, like last year, and then obviously coming into this year was like, they got Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver. I think him and Kyler Murray, the quarterback, are probably your best your offensive weapons. Yes, they have James Conner, who is getting a little old. He's 29, but he's still been very productive there. So it's not like they can't put up points, but I just everyone on their offense to me isn't a household name anymore. Yeah, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray, and James Conner, but to me that's about it. Um, I think they have some young tight ends, but nothing to write home about. Elijah Higgins and Trey McBride. On the defensive side of the ball, to me, I just they're not that great. Their offense is better than their defense, so we should see the Green Bay offense being able to handle the Cardinals defense. You may remember one name. Their middle linebacker is Chris Barnes. Of course, Chris played for the Packers for a few years, and he played well while I was here, but he just didn't make the cut in the end. He'll wear number 51, so watch out for him. Ren's not here to ask me the line, but the line is given to the Packers. This one is nuts. Well, it's not nuts, but it's 5.5 to the Packers. The Cardinals coming to town. Obviously, the Packers would probably get 3 if it was a tight matchup, but they're getting 5.5. So I don't know. That seems to me that they think it's going to be Vegas thinks it's going to be a relatively closer game than maybe we would like to hope, but we will see. I think that the Packers are going to score 28 points. No, I'm gonna bump it up to 30. 30 points. Arizona scores 27. I think it's a Narvison field goal for the win. And I'm looking for Narvison to bounce back because um, my friend, a friend of the podcast, picked up Narvison on his fantasy football team, and I ridiculed him and laughed at him today. And I think that's going to bite me. And I think that he's going to probably hit a few field goals. Um, and I hope so. I hope we don't have this kicker issue going forward. I hope that was it a couple weeks ago where he just kind of shook that off, had a bad game. I missed 2 that game and can just move on from that. So I think this is the week to maybe move on from things, move on from the Romeo Dobbs issue, move on from the kicker woes, and I guess move on from the sloppiness of the game last week. We know what the Packers can do. We had faith coming into the season that they were going to move the ball on offense, have a lot of weapons, and have this defense be attacking, which they have, and been getting a lot of turnovers. But with all that, always comes a little trade-off, and we're not getting the run defense we wanted. We're not getting the quarterback pressure that we want, and on the offense, the passing game is a little lighter than we want to be. I mean, some of that is the quarterback situation we've been through for the first 5 weeks with Jordan Love being out for a couple of those, and some of the drops and the unavailability of some of the wide receivers. So look for all that to bounce back once again. But maybe I'll get Ren to tweet out what his prediction will be, and we will see you guys back on the YouTube, back on the podcast for our first takeaway after the Cardinals game, which kicks off at high noon. I want to send a thank you to all those who have recently subscribed to YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Head over to our website, send us an email, go follow us on socials. We appreciate it very, very much. But I'm going to sign off, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon. Go Pack, go.